Good afternoon. We're going to give a few minutes for folks to join, and then we'll get started. So good afternoon, at least here on the East Coast. Some of you out west, still morning. But let's go ahead and get started. So thank you for joining our first of this year CBS Hour. We've played on the CBS Day in the past. We've had that at the ASABE annual meeting. Now we're going to have the CBS Hour and hope to have more in the future. Our goal today is to update you on progress within CBSI, opportunities, and ways to get engaged. I'm Erin Webb, the chair of CBSI this year. So just as a reminder about what our mission and goal is, achieving a circular bioeconomy through a system of systems model, which is our aim here, requires multidisciplinary collaboration. And our goals within the circular bioeconomy systems are to increase resource efficiencies, design out waste and pollution, keep products and materials in use, regenerate natural systems, and provide economic benefits. That can only be done through the systems of systems shown here, and that requires more than our conventional expertise within ASABE. And so hence the initiative, which you'll see, that grew out of ASABE and aims to engage other societies, other organizations as well. So the vision of CBSI, the Circular Bioeconomy Systems Institute, is to be a leader in creating a healthy planet driven by vibrant, sustainable circular bioeconomy systems, producing plentiful food, feed, forest products, and renewable resources. Our mission within that is to advance education, professional development, and innovations. You'll see that as how we're designed and for developing sustainable circular bioeconomy systems. That emerges out of a grassroots effort within ASABE, but also expands to other multidisciplinary stakeholder partnerships. A little bit of history for CBSI. Initial discussions were started after an inspiring keynote at the ASABE annual meeting in 2019. This is when initial discussions started. A task force was launched in 2021 to see how to prepare for the opportunity and vision and how to grow bigger and to engage other stakeholders beyond ASABE. The Circular Bioeconomy Systems Initiative as an institute or as an initiative was approved by the Board of Trustees in 2023. Last year in 2024, two major things happened. One is a series of technical workshops, which I'll tell you more about in a little bit. And then bylaws were approved and the first officers were elected. Now here in 2025, we're taking those bylaws with the officer team that was selected last year and putting CBSI into operation. So you'll see the how we're approaching that and what we're doing. A lot of that's been done in the background. So we wanted to open that up and let everybody see what's going on. So the organizational structure of CBSI, and there was a seminar last year that goes into much more depth. We can link that too. But just in general, there's a leadership team, which is the past chair, the chair, vice chair, or chair-elect and vice chair, and then 4 working teams. These are standing working teams that focus on innovating systems, developing metrics and standards, organizing meetings, publicizing and promoting. And you'll hear from each of those working teams in a little bit. The founding organization for CBSI is ASABE. That's our founding society. And we are actively engaging other partner organizations to expand beyond the ag and biological engineering community. We have multiple sponsors in past events and in future events: Schmidt Sciences, UT Ag Research, Cotton Incorporated, Center for Digital Ag at Illinois, to name a few. So in 2024, 2025, our year starts around the end of July, early August, and then runs for that year. This is the slate of officers that we currently have. Past chair is John Reed from the University of Illinois. At the beginning of the year, David Jones from now at Utah State was the chair. He had to step away to take that big job at Utah State, where he's Dean of Engineering, and I've moved up into the role of chair as of January. Ed Barnes is chair-elect, and we've asked Chad Yago to serve as the interim vice chair for the remainder of the year. We're supported at ASAB headquarters heavily by Liz Metz, the ASABE Director of Development, and Jill Straub, who's our staff liaison. She helps us connect to all parts of the ASABE headquarters. And we could not do what we're doing without Liz and Jill. So for 2025, we had multiple goals. The leadership team set out multiple goals. One is to expand our membership and to add value to the membership that we have. Number two is fundraising, which is not fun for most of us, but necessary to do the work that we want to do. Working team engagement, we have 4 standing working teams, as we saw. Those are a few had started already, but a few were new. So we want to get those functional and moving because that's where the bulk of the work occurs. And then to prepare for CBS Summit. You may have heard talk about a CBS Summit, and that is the goal in the coming years to host a large event that will bring together multiple stakeholders within the circular bioeconomy systems world. And so we can really to spark some interest, to engage others, and to get things moving along even faster. We'll talk about that as well. Last year was a great start to that with the technical workshops. Many of you probably were part of these technical workshops on farm production systems, animal and dairy systems, controlled environment agriculture, natural resources and environment, socioeconomic systems, urban food systems, young professionals in education, food processing, and then a capstone that was part of CBS Day last year. And last year we had lots of ideas. You'll see that picture of Zanette there with the sticky notes and all from a workshop. Multiple ideas, lots and lots of ideas. We have pages and pages of information and ideas from those workshops. And our goal this year has been to take those and create, when we're still in the process of doing this, to create documents and reports and highlights where we can move from ideas that were generated in those workshops toward impact. So that's been the work ongoing this year, to create summaries of those reports and then and move those into external facing documents. We're still in the process of doing that. 3 key action items that come out of those workshops that we want to leverage is one is to foster collaboration between industry, academia, and policymakers. And these were 3 variants of these 3 ideas came out of nearly all of the workshops. The second is to identify key challenges and solutions in the circular bioeconomy. So that falls in the science and research and innovation space. And then develop actionable strategies for sustainable farm and food systems. So you already see there that the working team structure lends itself well. Foster collaboration, that falls well within communication and meetings, which we'll hear more about. Key challenges and solutions, that's in the innovation space. And then actionable strategies, that falls squarely into the metrics, which we'll see more about as well. One of our goals this year was to expand membership and to add value for membership. And that occurs in 2 ways. One is for individuals. So one goal is to make it easy to join and contribute to either as an ASABE member or as an affiliate member. You'll see later how to join, but there's an easy way to join. And we've actually last year, though it wasn't well known, on the ASABE membership renewal form, there is now a box or a button for CBSI. So that's to help ASABE members engage easier. We hope to do that with partner societies in the future. Facilitate working team engagement. We'll talk more about that a lot in a little bit. And then activities at ASABE annual meeting and other meetings. This year, there are multiple sessions, a poster session, a technical session, a hybrid, a joint invited, a technical session. There's going to be a booth for CBSI, and we'll talk a bit about this, but also the foundation dinner is featuring CBSI this year. And that's at the ASABE annual meeting. For partner organizations, we want to better articulate the value of them being a part of CBSI and be very clear what they get out of it and how they can contribute. And so that's an ongoing project as well. Some of that's done through the new ASABE Ambassador Program that Liz is leading. And we're talking actively about how to develop partner agreements. What does that look like? How does ASABE actively partner with another society? That's an ongoing activity as well. And then the promotional materials, how can we develop toolkits, if you will, promotional materials that we can use at ASABE meetings, but then we can port over to other meetings and have booths and activities as well. So we can have that ready to go. Those are all activities ongoing. So within the meeting space outside of the ASAB AIM, one activity happening right now, and this is really an opportunity for folks to get involved, is on the Summit on Sustainable Foodstuffs Packaging. There is already existing a collaborative agreement formed last year between ASABE and the International Fresh Produce Association. And the idea here is that CBSI will be convening a workshop based on the workshops we held last year, using that model, hold a workshop, hopefully later this year, focused on food packaging in particular. Chad Yago is right now is working to organize, get that organization started. But Chad is actively looking for subject matter experts who would want to carry this summit forward. And so that is an opportunity for folks. His contact information is there. We welcome folks who want to be, who are actively engaged in food and food processing and packaging, who are interested in contributing, to contact Chad and get going on that. On to fundraising, we've had already a pretty active year in fundraising. Giving Tuesday, the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, we received 22,000 in donations on Giving Tuesday alone. So that's very exciting. That was part of, it was wrapped up into part of ASABE fundraising. And so 22,000 in a short time is pretty exciting. And then we've also learned that CBSI was selected as the beneficiary for the foundation dinner at the 2025 ASAB annual meeting. So if will be attending the ASAB annual meeting, I highly encourage you to attend because CBSI will be featured there. And we've already received donations from Schmidt Sciences for the upcoming CBS Summit, which we're really excited about. So I mentioned the working teams a lot, and that's really where the work within CBSI will occur, is occurring and will occur. I mentioned again the mission of CBSI to advance education, professional development, and innovations for developing sustainable circular bioeconomy systems. I think that's worth repeating because that's really work that's carried out in working teams. We have one on innovation. That's where we focus on how to innovate. To be able to achieve circularity and within a bioeconomy system, we need to be able to measure and track metrics. That falls under working team 2. None of this can happen if we're not able to collaborate and get together. So meeting and the physical logistics of meetings, that's really important. That falls under working team 3. And then in communication, so that's whether the website, reports, et cetera, that falls under working team 4. And you'll hear more about each of those. Again, I've already mentioned the summit. That's a vision that the early leaders within CBSI held, that to have a large meeting, very public facing, very high profile, to get interest and excitement and build momentum toward achieving circular bioeconomy systems. So I'd like to give you an update on where we are with that. In 2024, with those technical workshops, and then of course the bylaws for CBSI, that was really a year focused on building the foundation of the organization to be able to host such an event. Here in 2025, our focus is moving toward executing on that foundation and using that foundation to build momentum. And that means expanding our collaborative network. I already mentioned strategic fundraising, and then optimizing our processes within CBSI. For example, our processes around financial management, our processes around communication internally within the executive team and with all the CBSI members. Those are all active things we're working on behind the scenes right now. How to hold an election this coming year for the vice chairs of the leadership team and the working teams. All of that is happening behind the scenes to help us build a structure and organization that can host the CBS Summit in 2026 for larger impact. So now I want to move into the working team discussion, and I apologize if I'm rushing. I want to leave plenty of time for discussion at the end, but we're going to hear from each of the working team leads about their working team, how to get engaged, what they're actively working on, and their mission. Working team 1, I don't think we have anybody here today to represent that, but I can discuss it a little bit. So the goal there is to create multidisciplinary stakeholder partnership teams to innovate systems in the context of advancing circularity of the entire food and agriculture system of systems. So again, here the focus is on innovation, the science, R&D, demonstration, et cetera, and how to leverage our capabilities within multiple organizations toward that. This is a new working team, so it's really just getting off the ground and getting started, and we're excited to see where it will go in the future. Working Team 2, and I think Charles Parrish is here with us today to represent Working Team 2. And the focus here is on developing and promoting CBSI methods, metrics, and standards.
Thank you, Erin. Hey everybody, my name is Charles Parrish. I'm with the Interfaith Food Shuttle of Feeding America Food Bank. And on our working team 2, our main work focuses on standards, metrics, and tools for the circular bioeconomy systems. And we are led by our chair, Dr. Zainat Baz at University of Florida. And you can see some of our other members here on the screen as well. We are actively seeking additional members to join us and participate and contribute to this work. A few of the main areas where we're operating right now are coordinating terminology and standards, developing and promoting metrics, identifying and promoting tools for the circular bioeconomy systems, as well as enhancing data interoperability for all of these systems that we're discussing. And on the next slide, we'll go over some key activities and some ways that you can get involved. So we're collaborating within ASABE as well as with external partners for any and all sorts of standardization efforts around the circular bioeconomy. We're engaged with ISO as well as American and Canadian and other standards organizations on subjects such as data-driven agri-food systems, regenerative agriculture, and others. So if you're interested in any of those sorts of topics, this is a great opportunity to get involved in those. We're also reviewing and maintaining a database of standards and other efforts, both within and outside of CBSI, towards standardization in the CBS space. So that's something that you can participate in as well. We're also working on ontologies and defining the semantics involved with the circular bioeconomy on all of those systems so that we can help set framework and identify common language and concepts among CBS. So ways that you can join are contributing your expertise in these areas. You can participate in workshops and technical discussions that we'll be hosting, as well as shape ASABE and global circular bioeconomy frameworks by participating. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles. That was great. Working Team 3 is focused on meetings, conferences, and forums with ASABE and external organizations. That is led by Gal Hockman. I think Gal is with us today. Hope he was able to join.
Thank you very much. This working team includes Alicia, Anita, and Mary Lee Wolf. We're focusing on trying to promote programs within ASAB as well as with other organizations. And this is a place where we think a collaboration with many of you can be very fruitful and very helpful. The team aim is to support the logistical and organizational of these alternative events that will help increase awareness and understanding of CBS and circularity of systems. In that context, we support the website, which is the work of Working Group 4, as well as try to expand our outreach and communication with other organizations. In the next slide, a few of our tasks. We're currently trying to figure out how to move forward with the soliciting as well as organizing events in the context of CBSI. We're developing a manual that will help guide anyone in the future in Working Group 3. We believe that interacting with new members and anyone that wants to join will be happy to accompany that. Help through the members themselves interact with sister and brother organizations, other organizations that can, together with CBSI, introduce events in other disciplines and in other areas. We're trying to understand how best to push this forward. Currently, we're supporting a few sessions at AIM 2025. The Working Group 3 is helping CBSI sponsor as well as co-sponsor and organize those events as the logistical component. And in the future, we would like to better understand how to provide that logistical and organizational support. And from the beginning, from the initiation to the implementation of these alternative events. And again, we think that the members that can join Working Group 3 and are interested in collaborating or being active participants can bring a lot to the working group, especially their personal networks and personal connections to other organizations that will help us connect to others and again increase awareness and understanding of the importance of circularity. With that, thank you.
Thank you. That's a key working team. As you'll notice, as we go through all of these working teams, sorry, I say working groups too, working teams, there's a lot of connection and overlap between them, which is intentional. It's more like a network than a linear process here, or maybe a circular process here. Working team 4, we saved the best for last, I think, is to publicize and promote, and that their goal is to lead the development and distribution of technical and messaging documents to publicize CBSI widely and recognize excellence. They've been busy at work, and you'll see a lot of what they've been working on. Is Casey with us? Would you like to walk us through, Casey?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Casey Ting from University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. You have already seen this charge to the working team 4, which is publicize and promote. So we have chair, chair-elect, vice chair, immediate past chair, myself, Nitin from UC Davis, Sudhakar Mani from the University of Georgia, and Gail Baker from Maris Stutz Incorporated. We also have a CBSI website committee co-chaired by Zhong Lu from Texas A&M and Lori Duncan from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Okay, our tasks. The first one is implement and support communication workflows. The backbone of our communication platform is the CBSI website, which has been launched and live. You can check it out at cbsi-asabe.org. It's already been mentioned. In the spring of 2024, CBSI sponsored 9 workshops. So we're working on supporting the preparation of the report. One version of the report is being led by John Reed. We're supporting that. And Sudhakar, our vice chair, who happens to be the editor-in-chief for Journal of ASBE, is working on producing a special issue of Journal of ASBE covering the summaries of all the reports. Another key task is to create CBSI and also CBS branding and marketing messaging materials. We also support by publicize or providing information to support other events. For example, the Giving Tuesday video Erin mentioned, and also hopefully we'll provide support for for this one. We already did something. It's publicized on the website. Also, when needed, we'll support the summit to be held in 2026. Okay, the website is, as I mentioned, is a very important platform for our communication. It's co-chaired by John Liu and Lori Duncan with 11 members from 11 different organizations. So briefly going through the website, there's a home and news page that highlights the news. And then we'll go through the contents a little bit. The next one is about. There's welcome message, and describing why CBSI, and also there you can find the organization and leadership and collaborators and also sponsors of CBSI. When we move to resources, you can see we have publications, presentations, reports listed, so you should check it out in the past several years related to CBS. And CBSI definitions also there are posted there. Education, the web page of education is being developed. There's no substantial content there yet. But the career development, we have job announcements. If we have the OK signal from ASAP, if you have jobs related to CBS, you would like to announce, we can help you announce that on our website. The events, the next one is events. There's a list of meetings, actually past and current meetings and announcement of future meetings and webinars listed here. Also I want to mention to the right, there's a button you can join ASAB as an affiliate. If you're not already an ASAB member, or if you're already an ASAB member, you can just sign up to be a member of CBSI. Okay, the next one. Okay, we are working, we are pilot testing a form that we can collect information for possible posting on our website. And this is just a form just to show you that we can collect information to be announced on our website. And the next slide shows basically the information we're interested in is following the contents of the website that I just mentioned. So any information related to any of the pages we are interested in, but we are just testing the page now. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay, also, because we need to recognize contributions and achievements in CBS or CBSI, we are working to establish an awards committee, basically to develop an awards program. So the committee will be responsible for developing awards, what kind of awards to give, criteria, sponsorship, and process for nomination, review, selection, and recognition. Also how to present awards. In terms of publicize and promote, one of the efforts we are interested in is to collect, when we have members of CBSI or affiliates who goes around to host, to conduct sessions, technical sessions or seminars at different organizations. We are interested in knowing about that. So here's some examples of sessions occurred in the past. The next one. So call to actions, just like every working team and this overall CBSI, we are interested in engaging partners and participants, including everybody who's interested. There's always a way to join. So I guess that's it. The next one that's the end of it, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. You teed me up well, because the next slide is how can I get involved? How can I join? We've given you a pretty solid overview of the activities ongoing within CBSI. So now, if you're interested, how can you get involved? The first is to join. If you're not already a member, then as Casey said, there's a button on the website to facilitate that. You can also reach out to any of us in CBSI leadership or in ASCB headquarters to get help with that. The next is to connect. We have a LinkedIn group. We'll post the link to that in the chat here shortly. Maybe Ed or somebody can do that for me while we're online. If we have the LinkedIn group is ready to go. John Reed would love for somebody else to post so he doesn't feel like he's the only one sharing and posting in the LinkedIn group. But this is a great way for us to be able to share stories and activities. Those can be picked up and put on the website, but just us internally, Dolores, help me out. Put that link there in the chat there. So the first is to join, that's important, and then connect. The second is to serve. So we've talked about the 4 working teams. That is really where rubber meets the road and the action occurs. So we'd encourage everybody to, if you're interested at all, and there's something for everybody, from science innovation to working teams on metrics. If you like communication, Casey welcomes involvement, and then meetings if you like to travel and set up logistics. That's a great way. One more though, if you want to up your game a little bit and really get involved, we have elections coming soon for the vice chairs. So our model is that the chair will move. This year is a little bit different because the leadership team stepped in mid-year. We moved up, so we're going to maintain our roles through 2025, 2026. So the 4 of us will retain our roles, but in all the working teams, the past chair will rotate off. The chair will move into the past chair seat. The chair-elect will move to chair. And this will occur at the end of July, early August. And then the vice chair will move into that chair-elect seat. So that will open up the vice chair spot for all the working teams coming up soon. So stay tuned for an election. We're working through the process now, but we'll publicize that. And we welcome nominations. John Reed is chairing the nominating committee. And so if you're interested in serving in a vice chair role, then for any of the working teams, please contact John. And then I want to end by showing you a preview of the new website that is coming soon. So the website that we have is working great. It does a lot of great things. We have an even more highly functional and more attractive website coming soon. I wanted to give you a preview of that. That one's being mocked up now. It has largely the same functionality and the same features that Casey showed you. It's just a little bit better. And I'm really excited about the colors and all the visuals. I think they look great. All right, so we spent the first half hour chatting about and giving you an update from the leadership team and executive team. We would love to hear questions or comments. I think we can do that live, I assume. I'll leave this slide up. I think you are welcome to post questions in the chat. I'm not monitoring that very well, but if somebody else wants to help, if there are questions there, let's get started with that. And I invite the rest of the leadership team to help answer questions. And I think we can probably take just raised hands and questions as well, or comments or ideas. We are really open to ideas. This is a year of really expanding and growing and being able to execute on the mission that's before us. And a lot of that is, again, behind the scenes, but you know, it's in the details where things happen. So we'd love to share more about that with you if you have questions. No questions or comments? Oh, Ernie, I see you there. Hello.
Hi, folks. Good afternoon. Great to see the progress that's being made. Solutions from the Land, the organization that I work with, is one of your collaborating partners. And we have been focusing on the discussion of the circular bioeconomy at the global level. And there were a couple of things I just wanted to put on the table to make sure you're aware of them. The first is that FAO is standing up a global bioeconomy platform that will have circularity embedded in it. And they're on a glide path to have a draft of that, we believe, by the end of June at the FAO conference. So there is a growing conversation globally about the importance of circularity in the bioeconomy. And that's one place it's showing up. A second is in the G20, the countries of the world that meet in clusters. And Brazil, South Africa have been providing fabulous leadership in this space. And we have been intervening, carrying the message of farmers and the need for strong circular components into that platform. A third activity to keep on your radar screen, in addition to the summit the CBSI is planning for next year, is that there are other summits taking place around the circular bioeconomy. And there is one scheduled for this May. I think we sent the dates to John and Darren. It's set for May 12th through the 16th in Costa Rica, sponsored by the Latin American Bioeconomy team. So these are the Latin American countries. And in addition to that, there has been one global bioeconomy summit that was held October this past year in Nairobi, Kenya. So I mentioned this just to help put into context that this conversation is exciting because it's growing, it's taking root across the world. And to the extent we can align with these other actors and stress the need to keep circularity at the center and to keep farmers at the center, I think we've got a great opportunity. So congratulations on your work to date, and we look forward to continuing to collaborate.
Thank you. I appreciate that perspective. That's a great one. The global perspective. It's great to always hear what's going on outside of our own worlds, and then the encouragement to keep farmers at the center. That's always really key here. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ernie. Others? Any other comments? We thought there might be some discussion today. All right. Well, I would encourage you to, again, I will share that again, to join if you're not already a member, I suppose many of you are. Also to connect on LinkedIn. I'm terrible at it, but I hope that some of you will draw me out on LinkedIn. And then again, the working teams. Several have posted their connection, their contact info in the chat. So I encourage you if you're interested in working team 2. Casey's always willing to help get people involved in the publications, working team 4 that focus on publications and communications. And then I'll remind you also in the talk, we talked about the workshop for food packaging. That's an active area where we would really love to see some folks to step up and take leadership roles into executing that activity. Norm, hello.
Morning. Well, here, good morning. I was really appreciative of hearing two things. One was the progress that has been made since last and the litany of international and national conferences. Because one of my concerns that developed from last summer was kind of a rush, as I saw it, to trying to create the summit. And I noticed one of your slides, Erin said 25, but I know now, having heard 26, that makes more sense to me. But the real key there is, given what you've heard on ones already produced and developed, what is going to be the real focus and impact that you hope to get from the 2026 beyond just holding a summit? So that's not to expect an answer now, but to, in a sense, challenge the direction and the development of that summit to have a uniqueness and an outcome that has some particular consequence.
That's a great challenge. I'm glad you let me off the hook so I don't have to answer it either, because that's a big question and a tough challenge, especially because the landscape and the at least with here in the US, the landscape is changing, right? So
Yes.
and so maybe a summit we would have scoped in the fall might not be actually the most impactful now. And so I'm glad that we do have a little bit of leeway to still be able to craft that messaging, and I don't think it's defined. And if John or others are on the line, I'd welcome other perspectives from the leadership team as well. But I appreciate your challenge. I think that is a good one. We have that forefront of mind. I don't have solid answers for them right now because we want to be able to scope out the most impactful. Again, you challenge us to do something unique. That's important as well. Where can we add value, not just repeat what's already been done? So we are taking time to digest and understand the outcomes from those technical workshops last year so that we can do that better. And see what material we already have on hand and where the opportunities are. And then we're also trying to make CBSI on as strong footing as we can in the day-to-day operations so that we can carry that out well.
Yeah, Erin, I'll just chime in. So, one of the things that we struggled with as a team was the immensity of the information that came out of the brainstorming sessions that we've had at various CBS days. And so thanks to John Reed for digging into that and using some modern technology to help summarize a lot of that information. We do have summaries of each one of those workshops now, and now that we have that information, the idea is that we can use those summaries to better focus what a summit might look like. We're additionally using that information for the sustainable packaging summit that we're looking to put together. So I'll just put my plug in there. I'm really interested in gathering folks that work in that area to put that conference together. The challenge is really around the organization, not necessarily coming up with what we need to talk about, because we've identified the important subjects that we could potentially discuss in that summit from those working meetings that we had. So we've got the topic information identified. Now we just need the people that are subject matter experts in that area and have the passion to put a summit together. So those are the folks I'm looking for, and I hope that this can be a good example of how we use the work that we've done in the past to really focus the work that we're going to do in the future. And so that's the idea behind the big summit that we're putting together, and I think that's the idea behind continued efforts that we're going to be working on in the future.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. Those of us coming out of the ASABE world, like true engineers, we want to use even the sessions at the annual meeting, the workshops we had last year, and then this food packaging workshop. We want to use those as prototypes to build up to a bigger summit. And so we see them as key steps toward that. The topics may change, but the ability to build, in the chat, do you have a flyer? No, we don't. We need help. We need help from people to start planning that. So that is where we're really seeking volunteers to start planning it. We see that as a key activity. I know the scope is narrow, compared to this broader community. However, again, we see as a prototype toward a larger summit that would be broader in scope. And by that, I mean simply how to hold meetings, how to, the fundraising and the financial management, and how we partner with other organizations. All of that we think is important steps toward that larger summit. So Norm, a bigger answer to your question than you might have asked for, but thank you for raising the summit up.
Yeah, Whitney,
So if you,
Whitney, if you've got an interest in this area, please shoot me an email and we'll definitely get you roped in on the efforts here.
yeah, Chad, maybe you can put your email in the chat there too, so that they can grab it quick.
Yeah, I was in the presentation, but yeah, I'll throw it in the chat real quick.
Thank you. So I'd say if you find yourself really craving that summit, then engaging in the working teams is a great first start. Either the meetings, if you like that aspect of it, or in communications, and then in the innovations and thinking about the topics and the systems there, that's a key way to get involved as well. Any other questions or ideas, thoughts, challenges? Norm started that off too. We can be challenged to do big things. Any others? Again, I encourage you to connect with us, get involved, reach out to anyone on the leadership team, me, Chad, Ed Barnes, and John Reed as well. We'd love to get you engaged. If you have an idea that we've not shared yet, we will find a way for you to execute on it too. Any others? I don't want to drag this out if there's no other questions or comments or thoughts. All right. Any parting thoughts from the leadership team or from ASAB headquarters? We've got several of those folks. I do want to express.
Erin, this is Darren. Apologize.
Just
to thank you. Thank you for your leadership and energy and enthusiasm that you're bringing.
Well, thank you, Darren. Actually, we're going to miss the leadership and enthusiasm you've provided to us for a long while. And I would just want to say a special thank you to the ASAB headquarters, because ASAB is not, they've been so supportive of us branching outside of the bounds of ASAB to engage other societies, but they've also provided us strong support, both financially, with financial management, with simple things like helping me with slides and all that kind of thing. So I really appreciate Liz, Jill, Dolores, Darren, all of you. ASAB has been a very, very good founding organization to all this. All right, well, thank you all again. Feel free to reach out if you have more questions or thoughts, ideas. If you want to challenge us, if you think that we're not doing something right, then we're open to all that kind of feedback, and we welcome it again. But if you come with feedback, I'm going to put you to work. So come ready to join a working team if you have any critiques or thoughts. All right, thank you all again. We'll let you have the rest of your afternoon or morning back. I appreciate all the participation. Have a good evening, afternoon.
Bye-bye, all.
Thanks. You too.